This is Jeff Owens from ClassicHorrors.club. Welcome back to the Countdown to Halloween. Yesterday I read the second issue of The Invisible Man. This is part of a series of Universal Monsters adaptations put out by Image Comics in their relationship with Skybound Entertainment. They started in October of 2023 with a version of Dracula. And this one, the unique thing about it was the art. Painted, not clear lines. It's probably a like it or don't like it type thing, but the story itself, some of these take place concurrently during the movies that we're familiar with. One is a sequel, one is a prequel. So it's kind of fun. You never know really what you're going to get. So Dracula is one that takes place concurrently, and I'll just read the summary of it. When Dr. John Seward admits a strange new patient into his asylum, the madman tells stories of a demon who has taken residence next door. But as Dr. Seward attempts to apply logic to the impossible, his surrogate daughter Lucy begins to fall under the spell of the twisted Count Dracula. This was written by James Tynion IV, and art was by Martin Simmons. To be honest, don't remember a lot about this series. I think I should probably wait till all issues come out and read them at once. I think I would get more out of them, but I don't do that. The next series that came out was Creature from the Black Lagoon. This came out in April of 2024. This was written by Dan Waters and Ram 5 or Ram V. I recognize the name from DC Comics, but I'm not sure how you referred to him. The art's by Matthew Roberts and Dave Stewart. This is a little more conventional artwork. It's a bit, I don't want to say cartoony, but look how they do the creature. He's just slightly different. I think it's around the mouth and the gills. This is the one that's a sequel. The description for it is: years after the events of the original film, journalist Kate Marsden hunts for a notorious serial killer in the heart of the Amazon. Hot on the trail of this madman, she soon encounters a new threat. But is he friend or foe? This one I was really looking forward to, and the covers on this one were fantastic. And this is Frankenstein. It came out beginning in August of 2024. And by the way, these are 4-issue series. Each monster has a 4-issue story. This one is another one that's kind of concurrent, but mostly a prequel, I would say. The summary says Dr. Henry Frankenstein begins his unholy quest to create life by robbing the grave of a decorated police officer. But little does he know that the corpse has a son who is mourning a father, and that his young boy will forever change Frankenstein's life. The art on this, so far, I believe, is my favorite. This was written by Michael Walsh with art by Tony Marie Griffin. Then we have The Mummy. Mummy's not my favorite of the Universal monsters, but this one, to be honest, since it's not my favorite, I don't really know. It sounds like it's a concurrent story, but you'd have to check my Monster Kid card on this one that focuses on Helen Grosvenor, a young woman in 1920s Egypt caught between two cultures and haunted by a childhood encounter with a curse. While at an archaeological dig site with her archaeologist father, she's pulled into an ancient tragedy. This one is very, maybe cartoony would be the right word. Kind of removing the first Dracula, which is unique in the artwork. This would probably be my least favorite of the art. The covers on all of these are great. This was written by Faith Erin Hicks and drawn by Lee Luffridge. And so now that brings us to Invisible Man. This was issue 1. Invisible Man is not one of my favorite, but this is turning out to be one of my favorite adaptations. This started just back in August, and this is definitely a prequel. Jack Griffin has always been invisible to the people around him, at least in his own mind. But when an experimental breakthrough presents a path to make his dream of invisibility a reality, no one, not even the woman he loves, will stand in his way. This particular issue I really enjoyed. There are some comments he makes about being invisible or not being able to see this or that. They're kind of tongue-in-cheek, foreshadowing of what's to come. And of course, we know what that is, but here he's just doing experiments. He's developing his formula, and he makes a cat invisible So it's kind of interesting. They draw the invisibility just as white. And I really enjoy this. The art is probably most similar, I would say, to the Frankenstein. It's by Danny Brad Simpson, and again written by James Tynion. So he returns after writing the first one, Dracula. So these are good. They're fun. They're must-haves. I think you can wait and get them all four in a trade paperback when all four come out. They put out a trade paperback. I'd like to read them as they come along. That's how I've always read comic books. Now, the big question for me is what's next. I don't know how long they have the license. I don't know if there's going to be additional series, but there's one glaring admission, and that's the Wolfman. Certainly, they've got to do a series on the Wolfman, I would think. I did read an article from way back in 2021 when these were announced, and Phantom of the Opera was mentioned. I haven't heard anything about that since then. Technically, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from 1913 would be a Universal monster. I think it'd be unlikely that they would do a story on that. And then what I think would be fun to do would be an Abbott and Costello, meet Frankenstein or meet any of the monsters. Or an original one, maybe one of the monsters they didn't meet in the movie. If you look at some of the classic Abbott and Costello comic books, I love the art on the cover. I don't really haven't flipped through too many of them, but I would love to see that art with the Universal monsters. And I think that would be a great addition to the series. So let's hope that there's more. I definitely recommend you get them. I would say at this point, the trade paperbacks for all of them, but Invisible Man, this just came out a week ago. You can pick those up at your local comic book shop and probably even have them pull them for you. And be sure to get issues 3 and 4 and see how that wraps up. That's my horror item that I enjoy for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow with something else.